Alright guys, I wanted to talk about quickly the something we haven't talked about yet, which is the doc type in HTML, which is something you may have seen at the top of my web pages. And you may be wondering what it was. If you've done HTML in the past, you know it's an important part of the process. If you haven't, and you don't have this on your website, it may be why you're running into some issues on certain browsers, mainly IE. If you don't have this, what it does is it tells the browser what type of HTML you're going to use. And if it doesn't have this, the HTML goes into, or the Internet Explorer rather goes into what is known as a quirk mode, where it renders certain properties and values incorrectly or not at all. And you might have noticed this and wondered why some of your code wasn't working in general, and this might be why. And I maybe should have brought this up at an earlier time in the class, but I just realized we hadn't talked about it, so I'd like to mention it now. So I'm going to show you a quick place where you can find this code. The good thing for you is you don't need to memorize this code. Most seasoned web designers don't remember how to write this out by hand. It's a whole lot of mumbo jumbo here, but there is a good website for you guys to use, and I think I may have mentioned it throughout the course of this class, which is a W3 school site. It's got a lot of useful information, and it's good to use here. Let the video catch up. So again, what the doc type does is it tells the browser what type of HTML you're going to be using, right? So the browser knows exactly how to render what you're typing out, and there's different types of HTML that you can use. I like to use strict or transitional, and transitional is what Dreamweaver does by default, by the way, when you create an HTML file, but you could also change that. So let's let this, here we go. That's where I want to go. So let's get to the W3 school site. And I think I've shown you this site once before. I'm going to go ahead and type in Doctype in the little search bar here. It's an awesome website, the way they explain things. So I'll give you an example first of where the doctype would go in your document, right? And the doctype sits before the HTML and before anything else. It's the first thing that should appear on your code, okay? And below this they have the definition of what a doctype is, as well as the different versions of different doctypes that you can use. So you can read through this on your own here. Basically, the doctype declaration refers to a document type definition. The DET specifies the rules for using the markup language, so on and so forth. So basically what that means is this code here, apart from telling the browser what you're going to be doing and what type of HTML you will be writing, it compares it to the document type definition, the DDT file at this link. Is basically, if you wanted me to break this down for you, that's basically what it's saying, is compare the HTML to the DDT. So when you go to validate your website through a free online validator, what it does is it compares your code to the rules set on that DDT document. And if everything matches, it says, hey, congratulations, you don't have any errors in your code. If something doesn't match, it says errors found. When you go to validate, does that mean your website's not going to work? No. It just basically means you didn't follow the rules for that specific type of HTML, which you said you were going to be writing. In the future, though, if you guys stick with this, you'll learn in HTML5 that all this doc type stuff goes away, and it's going to be a lot easier to write this stuff, which will be nice. So, again, you don't need to memorize this. I would bookmark this page if you don't have Dreamweaver, because you can just copy and paste from here, or I would save it on a file and have it set up and ready to go. The two I would recommend using would be transitional or strict, which are the ones that I typically use. And again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining all these different types of doc types. It's more of an HTML thing you can learn in the web design class. But I would definitely do some research on my own, or on your own. You should do some research and see which types you would like to use for different projects. But I did want to just mention that they existed in case you run into some issues, as some of you have. So hopefully that clears that up. And again, definitely need the doc type if you haven't done so already. And this is a good resource for you guys to find the type of doc type you should